Hello and welcome. My name is Denise. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be discussing chapter 3 of the Master Key System. Now, as you all maybe already know, the way that I read this book, every time I read the chapter and then I do the meditation until I master that particular chapter. So that means if that takes me 2 weeks, I read that chapter every single day. 2 weeks, if it takes me 2 weeks, until I've mastered that meditation. Now, what's interesting about chapter 3 is within the very first sentence, it already sent me on a wild goose chase. Now, this book has to be read like a puzzle. So a lot of times you'll meet people who tell you they've read the book and then you'll mention a name that was mentioned in the book. They have no idea what that is. So a lot of people really miss the key components in this book. So let me read the very first sentence for you. The necessary interaction of the conscious and subconscious mind requires a similar interaction between the corresponding systems of nerves. Judge Troward indicates the very beautiful method in which this interaction is effected. Now, who is Judge Troward? I had to go and find out, because if you don't know who this guy is and you've read this book, he's a major key and really understanding this book or your journey along this book. So I went and Wikipedia'd him, and Judge Troward's name was Thomas Troward. He was a judge in India when it was ruled by the British. I mean, he died in 1913. So he was a judge, and I guess during his retirement or after his retirement is when he wrote all those books. But go and research Judge Troward. Well, he wrote tons of books on this same subject of like your thoughts create your reality, Bible, Jesus. He wrote a lot of different things. So I'm going to go on a wild goose chase and completely probably read all of his book before I move on to chapter 4. I mean, maybe that's a stretch, but if you don't research Judge Troward, then you're missing a big key component of this book, because in The Secret, Rhonda Byrne credits him somehow. In the beginning of it, Bob Proctor talks about him all the time. This guy is instrumental in you having the bigger picture and understanding before you even move on to chapter 4. What I want to share, like an epiphany, and this is why this book is really changing my life. This book is like magic in my life, okay? So one of the things that happened, like recently I was just cleaning out my car and just like started to feel this magical power of order. Like when you're orderly, everything seems to flow so much better in your life. Well, one of the things Bob Proctor was mentioning about Thomas Troward is that he said that order was the first law of the universe, or something like that. Or order was heaven's first law. So you know, in order to, I guess, achieve anything, you're going to have to bring some kind of order into your life. Now, I'm not going to speculate. You're going to have to expand on that on your own. But what happened to me was when I was, cleaning out my car, and I felt this feeling about how godly being orderly was, when I heard the lecture that Bob Proctor was talking about Thomas Troward and him mentioning order, I felt like chills. I felt like, the Holy Spirit, I call it, that feeling of like euphoria when you're so happy and then you start to cry because it's that love, that magical presence of God feeling, I call it. I felt it when I heard those words. And I'm not even going to put any negative spin on it, but that feeling made me feel so grateful that this book came into my life. I'm so grateful that this book came into my life, and I'm so grateful to be providing any kind of insight for you, anybody who's read chapter 3 who overlooked Thomas Troward. You have to go read his books. You have to go listen to this man's teachings. This book is giving you a huge key puzzle in terms of your life and how to expand on it or how to improve on it or how to make it better. This man has so many different teachings. I mean, it's going to probably take a lifetime to really, really study all of this. But still, I felt that Holy Spirit, all is love. I am love. Everything is connected and beautiful and powerful, and it's all for the glory of God. That feeling when you're in church, or something, or like when you're in nature. I felt it. Order is nature's first law, or order is heaven's first law. Order, order, order. If anything you get out of chapter 3, that's definitely one of them. Or definitely Judge Troward, Thomas Troward, is a key component to the Master Key System in chapter 3. So good luck to you all. I hope that I've provided some kind of insight, because a lot of times this book can feel very like you're on a journey alone, and you're like, how do I do this? And reading Judge Troward and his books, finding out who he was, that's going to be one of the keys for chapter 3. Namaste. Love to all. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe